Not sure.
Are we sure this is 139? Let's look and see. This is 139 or is this 130?
This is 139.
See, this is episode 139 of the TFW podcast. I'll be damned, it feels like we haven't potted in weeks. I don't know, maybe if we just haven't talked wrestling together. Like, life has been lifing and been busy, all good though, but I feel like, is it just me or I feel like we ain't really been talking about wrestling like that?
Yeah, I'd agree. I feel like I haven't been on social media in like a year, and it only really been about 2 days.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I like this new pod schedule we have. I feel like I have the whole day. The whole day is what I have. And now we still watching. And it's
if we
Eastern
watching,
Standard
you
Time.
in a new spot. You in a new spot right now. Look at you.
Yeah. No, this is the
same
old room.
coming in.
This is the same old room.
No, it ain't. You got that plant. Don't give me that now. You got some of that ambiance.
Yeah, she got that plant in that corner. I was talking to Rhodesia. I'm like, man, this is like a man pot up in here. Rhodesia's like, no, it don't. But
it looks. But you know what? It looks like
it to me soft.
You look professional. You look astute. You look like you know what you're doing. You look like you match your tea drinking. That is what that looks like.
Bingo. Yes. I'm so proud of you.
No, you know, I actually prefer these little trash cups because it keeps my tea nice and warm as we pot.
Are they biodegradable though?
I don't think so, Shorty. I got them on Amazon.
We are not in the first 2 minutes of this podcast talking about some damn is it biodegradable. We are not doing that. Eshaun did bring up the new schedule. We never even tweeted it out. We didn't send it out. We ain't said nothing about it. We do have a new schedule over here at the TFW podcast. And that new schedule is, we talked about it a little bit a few weeks ago. We are moving, guys. Sundays is still, we locked in on Sundays. Now, if you're going to watch on X, Twitter, then you still get it Sunday evening. If you listen to the pod, you may be moved to Monday early morning. I promise, though, it'll be there for you when you wake up Monday morning, wherever you may live. That second day, though, 3 of us talked. I'll just give it up of how I want to give it up. And this is probably the only thing I have for this podcast. Weekly AEW television just is not for me right now in this present moment of my life. So,
is that why we moving?
To keep? No. Well, part of it maybe. But to keep me still loving to watch wrestling and giving you guys the awesome content.
Matt, do me a favor.
Yes.
Run back that headline again.
Which part? Which one?
Lord.
What you started off with, man. Come on.
Weekly AEW TV just may not be for me right now. So typically we would record our podcast on Tuesday nights and we drop on Wednesday. Y'all know that. We are now moving our podcast to recording on Wednesday and dropping on Thursday. Okay, so that's just some life things that are out there. But from a wrestling perspective, I know E will. I know I will. And I think Rhodesia kind of just goes with the flow. I'll be honest, I would much rather watch NXT weekly, especially now knowing they're sticking on Tuesdays when they go to UPN, aka CW. I'd rather watch NXT. Even if we don't talk NXT a ton on the Thursday pod, at least I am watching something that I am entertained by and I get joy out of on a weekly basis. Let's go ahead and introduce the pod, then we can go ahead and do the show, right? That's freaking wrestling. We are live on Twitter. We will be up on YouTube soon. And, of course, when you're listening on your favorite audio platforms, we are there for you. Also, shout out to everybody who listens, watch. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Y'all know that. Still 2 days a week. Just switching just a little bit. But it'll work out. So, are y'all good if we just start with... I hate to start on, like, some negativity. I do. I hate to start on me bitching and moaning. But this is on my heart.
Hold on now,
okay.
though, Matt.
All right.
I got my man LA Knight ready to make his guest appearance, man. You trying to shoot right over him. So
we always got a spot for Mr. Knight.
Hey,
we are
fitting
the hard way.
Hitting for the person. Fitting for the person.
We always
WWE
got spot for
does
Mr.
it.
Knight.
One more time, Mr. Knight.
3 the hard way.
Let's go. What you got, Matt?
Before I get into my rant, and let's talk about Mr. Knight, and let's also talk about the Shield. So, it's been a decade already since the Shield broke up.
Excuse me?
Which you think? Yes,
Stop.
it's been 10 years.
Whoa.
Since we heard
I'm doing Rocky
there's
right
always
there.
a plan B, and Seth Rollins smashed Roman Reigns with that chair. Roman ain't recovered since.
No.
It's been a decade. It has been 10 years.
No, it has not.
Think about that. But I was thinking, so that's been 10 years, and we've talked about it in the past, like where you may want to put the Shield. Some people may have that number 1 in factions, number 2, number 3, wherever. And then I was watching LA Knight Friday on SmackDown, and continues just to be super over. I love that he called out Carmelo for messing up his name. That was great. But I do have a question from a percentage perspective. We all know Vince hit more than he missed. And I guess we're talking sexually and work-wise.
And I got something on him today, too. Go ahead.
Okay. We know he hit more than he missed on his gimmicks, on the storylines. What percentage would you say he was at? Do you think he was 50-50? Do you think he was 70% positive, 30% negative? And I'm only talking not storylines. I'm talking characters, right? So you look at who he's created: Hogan, Warrior, Andre the Giant, Shield, DX. We can continue to go on and on and on and on and on and on. What's the percentage that you feel like he was batting?
It's going to be incredibly high. I mean, that's a flawed question. He is the sole controller of what we saw on television. So he's going to get that over regardless. He has some backlash in the modern time with John Cena and people not liking Cena because he was Super Cena. But if you were talking about somebody that the machine was going to put out there, it's going to have to be a high percent because he is I don't want to say God, but he is the controller, creator of this thing we call WWE. So I'm going to go 85%. I know there's probably a couple people that character didn't get over, but it is because he's in control of it. This is his business. This is his company. Like, for instance, if I owned a bakery and I want my specialty, let's say I can make an Oreo cupcake the best. I'm going to make that my number one thing. So that's going to be my number one seller because that's what I'm going to market. That's what I'm going to produce. So again, I think it's a flawed question. I understand what you mean by it, but I'm going to say it's going to be a super high percentage. I'll land at 85 for character, not storylines, character.
See, I break down Vince in like 2 different ones. I got Evil Dirty Old Man Vince that started in the 2010s. And then I got the 80s Vince. Because if you go back to the 80s, he was a mastermind. He was a genius, right? He was hitting like all them characters back in the day are like off the charts, right? From Hogan to Junkyard Dog. But a lot of these guys were established acts too, right? So you think about it's kind of interesting if you want to compare like young Vince to young Tony Khan to AEW. Like they inherited a lot of or signed a lot of established talent that just didn't have a major national platform, right? But you had Hogan, you had Roddy Piper, the Junkyard Dog, Iron Sheik. You had all these different guys that he just gave a platform to really allow Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania to shine. But he made a couple of like really, really nice tweaks, right? I actually was watching Tales from the Territories the other day. I thought that would be interesting to watch.
How was it? Is it good?
I watched a couple episodes. If you're like a student of the business, you will enjoy it. I watched Portland wrestling because I heard a lot about it, but I didn't know a lot about it. So I was interested in hearing that. It's a very easy watch. They don't get too dramatic. They don't talk about like the hard stuff of the territory.
What is that on?
Like, good stuff. I think it's on Vice because I have Sling, so I kind of searched for it. So I was able to get the whole season. I think it's on Vice though. It's from the same creators of Tales from Dark Side. But Rock executive produces it and kind of intros it. But just going back to that, they had the sheep herders. I don't know what their name was in Portland. I didn't catch it.
I remember them.
But Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers, they were the sheep herders in NWA, right?
Hardcore too, boy.
Hardcore. And they were saying, like, I'm not sure if Butch is around anymore, Baluk was on the episode, and he was saying, how do we go from, being these bloodthirsty killer heels to cartoons? He's like, the money. He was like, like Vince gave us a platform, and we made a lot of money being those cartoon characters, right? So the Bushwhackers, like they were like, we talk about the New Day the other day, right? Like the New Day, like, oh, we should have them break up. I remember the Bushwhackers really enjoying I wouldn't say I wanted the Bushwhackers to be the champions, but I like the Bushwhackers, right? And I think a lot of kids like the Bushwhackers. So if you go back in that time period, like Vince was killing it. But you also remember he also had the Goon. He also had like the
Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Duke the Dumpster Drosy. He had Tony. He had Tony Anthony from Smoky Mountain. He made him like I think he was like a garbage man or something like that too, or something, man. Like he started going to these cartoon characters that it just wasn't hitting, right? And then which allowed WCW to kind of sneak in with the NWO, and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we got the Attitude Era where he stepped back from creative and got ideas from someone else, right? Then we started getting the 2010s to where I think he stopped listening to other people. He started doing his own stuff, and he was very hit or miss, man. Yeah, he had the Shield, but then he got I think in Roman Reigns' way for almost a decade before he let him blow in the bloodline. Like, right? He beat Dolph Ziggler down so much in the minds of fans that we didn't care about him when he got released.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you can count how many guys you can say, like, oh man, like I was high on this guy, but the way they booked him, you just didn't care about him after a while because Vince wasn't into him. And that list goes on for a decade of him just, for me, in my opinion, killing careers, man. And he started killing my fandom because I stopped almost watching the last half of that decade as well. So when we talk about like the old man dirty Vince, that dude was like 60-40, 40% good, 60% bad. We want to talk about the 80s Vince up until about, the Attitude Era. I would say probably about 80-20. So that's where I'm at.
All right.
Old
so
man Vince,
so
bad.
You about 70-30 if you kind of put them both together. And that's probably that's could be where I'm at, just because when he hit. When he missed, he also missed too.
Like a mother.
And that is how I feel right now about weekly AEW television. When it hits, it hits. When it doesn't, it doesn't. Let me give me a couple minutes here. Give me a couple minutes. So Wednesday on Dynamite, and y'all know how I am. I'm all about things making sense. I'm all about storytelling. I'm all about production, et cetera, et cetera. We come off of a great Double or Nothing. Mercedes video package starts the show. Cool. No problem with that at all whatsoever. Mercedes promo starts. Cool. No problem with that whatsoever. Sky Blue comes out. We get our little thing there. A little confused because I thought Mercedes was a heel. Whatever. We'll figure that out. Second segment, Swerve comes out to work another damn match. It's supposed to be history making, first ever black champ. We supposed to be making this a big deal. Fucking comes out again. Second segment to work a match against who? Can anybody tell me who Swerve worked after defending his championship against Christian? All right, good talk. So then I'm sitting there irritated because I'm like, this is why people can't get over. You don't know how to present them. But then, this is where I talk about they do great stuff. That Battle Royal was incredible. Fantastic to end the show. It was some other decent parts throughout the show either. I'm not discrediting that. But here it is. Here's why I'm past it. I'm over it. Will Ospreay wins the Battle Royal. Fantastic Battle Royal. Loved every second of it. Loved every second of it. Swerve comes back down to the ring. And instead of promoting and treating this like this is the biggest deal that we've had in our company, Will Ospreay, who's already a champion, going against our world champion at Forbidden Door. Oh my God. What do we get? They are talking over that to hype up fucking Rampage and Collision. They don't even talk about the stare down. We go off, and you telling me about some match on Rampage and Collision that is neither here nor there to what should be arguably your two of your biggest performers. But don't stop there. So I'm already pissed off. I'm Dynamite. I was like, man, fuck this.
The show's over. There's more.
Oh, it's over. Collision happens. Somebody tell me why Roddy Strong gets a world title shot against Swerve on Dynamite this Wednesday?
Because Rhodesia likes him.
Exactly. Tony called me, and the last time we saw Roddy work, he put in some major work. That match could have been match of the weekend for me. So that's why. Tony was impressed with what he saw. And in order to pay him back, he's like, I'm going to give you a chance to go after the championship. Or after the champion. I don't know if it was I didn't watch Collision. Or it's going to be this week.
It's going to be a great match. Right? It's going to be a great match.
Is it for the championship or is it just a match?
Oh, yeah. It's for the championship.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a great match. Rhodesia, I know you don't know. Let me just put you up on game really quick on how this happened. So now let's remember Will Ospreay defeated Roddy for the international title.
Intercontinental.
International.
Oh, no, it's international. Okay.
We got that part, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then Will Ospreay wins a gauntlet match on Dynamite. Going against the best of the best. Leo Rush comes back. Shout out to Leo Rush. Yay. He looked fantastic.
Shout out.
He looked the exact same.
To get a world title shot. This battle royal is to get a world title shot at the Forbidden Door. Ospreay wins that. Roddy Strong wins a match on Collision, and then he gets in a yelling match with Tony Khan backstage. And that turns into a world title match against Swerve on Dynamite.
Maybe he's also thinking that Swerve is going to whoop that ass, so that's probably why he did that too. Outside of his phone call with me.
But Roddy Strong lost to Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm. And he did not win the gauntlet match.
Why would he get a world title shot? You know why he's getting a world title shot? And this is where I say, you know what? I'm working myself into a shoot. I'm a little too deep in because it's gonna be a good match. That's why we're doing this. It's gonna be a good match. I'm past it. I'm over it because I've watched wrestling for too long. I care too much about details. I care too much about storytelling to sit here and miss NXT every week, which NXT is a caricature of wrestling shows majority of weeks. Mm-hmm. But I love that caricature of wrestling shows. We got Lola Vice throwing ass on there. We got Sexy Red throwing ass on there. Circle. We got Whoop That Trick. We got people that I enjoy watching. Roxanne Perez, people who can go in the ring. We got a PLE this upcoming Sunday. But yet I'm missing NXT every single week so we can pod and talk about potentially AEW each week. We won't even watch Collision no more. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm still going to, of course, I will still be invested. I'm not saying that I'm going to watch every pay-per-view, but this whole weekly thing where I'm sitting down at 8:00 every single week, locked into Dynamite and watching to be like, all right, let's see who we get over this week. All right, let's see what they do with said person this week. That's just done for me. It is a wrap. So, Eshaun, the floor is yours to give me your I told you so, if that is what you want to do.
No, I'm interested in hearing your wife after your monologue.
I'm still there. I'm still your in-house AEW in-house journalist, whatever you want to call it. I'm still there for it. But again, this is not fair because I don't watch Rampage. I don't watch Collision. And I halfly watch, and I made up a word there, halfly watch Dynamite. So then is that even really fair for me to say that I'm a true AEW fan? Again, like I said, we talk about how we were there in the conception of it and from the very beginning, before they even became AEW, when it was all in. Yes, that's still my family, but this is just that time where I've graduated from high school and I'm going off to college and I'm becoming an adult, that's still my family. I'll be back there. I'm still going to always root for it. I'm going to watch my family's things that they're doing to come home for certain events as much as I can, but I am not going to go out of my way to watch that if I have other things going on. So it's just prioritizing. And unfortunately, me prioritizing NXT now over Dynamite, that's not me saying, you know, screw AEW. It's just that I'm just recalibrating my life. I want to be able to watch something I know on NXT every week. I'm going to get true, lighthearted, fun, beautiful people on the screen.
I'm going to be entertained. Smiling. He can't hold back that smile.
And that's it. But it's not. But if I want to watch, like, real talk, if I want to watch great wrestling, true great technical wrestling, I know AEW is going to always provide that for me. Always, they're going to give me that.
You're not going to get true technical because they don't follow rules in the matches. So technical means like if they're outside the ring for 10 seconds, then you actually count.
So
10
let's
say, count out.
So what other word?
No, just great action.
Technical? Great action.
We're the best wrestle. We're the best wrestle.
The best wrestle.
If you want to see where the best wrestle, you will tune in to Wednesday nights and their semi-monthly pay-per-views on Sundays and not Saturdays.
But who knows? By the time this fall comes and because now we're going to be watching NXT and such, I might be over it. I might say, hey, after a while, I am kind of tired of this high school, because it feels like high school / like Saved by the Bell college days feel like they're not full adults yet. They're still teenagers. Like, that's the vibe I get from it.
You talking about NXT or
AEW? NXT. And then for me, I feel like NXT is that for me. I might say by the fall, I'm over it. It's kind of stale. And then I might be, okay, I'm going to be watching Dynamite all the time. But again, just for now.
Who is Zach Morris on NXT?
On NXT?
Yep, who's Zach Morris?
We're going to have to give it to Trick right now, right? I mean, he's the main character. You have to give it to Trick.
Who is Zach Morris on NXT?
I guess you have to say Trick, right? I don't think they have a Zach on that show.
I would have said Trick is AC Slater.
Yes, because everybody want to have sex with AC Slater. Yeah, yes, okay, I give you that.
I mean, that wasn't a thing in Saved by the Bell, though.
Yes, it was. No, okay, first off, everybody.
You forget Zach had them all at one point.
No, that was a
Slater didn't have them all. Did
Slater
have them all at one point?
No, they was going back and forth. Yeah,
Slater was the man. Okay.
Yeah.
If I had to be locked in a room with somebody,
they were fighting over the same chick for multiple seasons. Is the problem?
Kelly. Okay, so who is Kelly? Who is Kelly in NXT?
After she shook that ass, Lola.
Hell yeah. Because I got Kelly as Lola.
I say Roxanne.
And I have Jada Parker as
that's Lisa Turtle.
Lisa, for sure. That's definitely Lisa Turtle.
Because everybody want Lisa Turtle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Jessie. Don't forget about Jessie. Because Jessie had her time too. I mean, she was so excited. She was so scared. So she had her time too. But who would Jessie be?
The one girl, because they look alike. I forgot her name. She's a heel now.
Grace.
No.
Ariana Grace.
No.
Oh, that's a good one.
That would be Lisa Turtle. That'd be Lisa Turtle.
No.
Yes,
no, because Jada Parker's got that on lock.
Okay, so
we are not pivoting off of Jada
What's
Parker.
What's old girl name? She
Lisa
used
Turtle.
to be down with the two guys. She's like a country one. She had to have somebody be her protege.
Oh, Fallon.
Yeah,
Fallon.
my girl. Yeah,
Fallon.
Yeah.
I'll call Fallon.
Matt, I like Fallon.
No, you know who Fallon is? Fallon is who's the one girl that the dad had, like, he owned like the beach restaurant or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I was just talking about. I was just talking about that season. I was just talking about that season. I was talking to one of my drivers, and I was like, man, you know, they had a whole summer season, right? They had enough episodes, and it felt like that season lasts for like the whole year, right? I just remember back when I was younger, I felt like the summer was like a whole year. It seemed
felt
like,
like
right?
it.
Now my kids got out of school like May 25th or something like that.
They're going back next week.
They go back August 1st. Like, it's crazy. But going back to the AEW thing, man, what I'm happy is it's good for our show that y'all finally are ready to give it up and have some objective talks about wrestling. Because I felt like y'all would let blind fandom like influence your takes. Like y'all treated AEW like it was like your second child or something like that. Like, you know what? Like everybody knows this is a badass kid, but Matt and Rhodesia won't let you talk about him. All right. And if you talk about this bad kid, they're going to say, nope. He's a beautiful boy. He's misunderstood. You got to give him a chance. But then next week, they'll talk about the kid.
I'll let you
talk about the kid. They'll let the kid. So they'll talk about the kid. And you're like, yeah, you know what? And yesterday he did. Don't you talk about my child now. You getting in the room. That's what y'all would do with AEW. So now I'm finally happy that you guys we can have some objective, authentic conversations about the product. It's great.
Okay. I'll go with you a little bit on that. I'm going to change that analogy a little bit.
And I hate those parents.
And it's not, I'm not the parent of these kids. I'm
so,
more of the.
What E is saying is AEW is always sleepy. That's what the parents always talk about when they badass kids be running around. They just sleepy. E is saying Tony Khan and AEW is always sleepy.
So okay, like I said, that was really good. That was really good. But I look at them more as like I'm the teacher and those are my students, those are my kids. So yes, I'm gonna defend them because they can't defend themselves. They're still young. AEW is still young. So I am that voice, that adult reason for them. No, they're not my kids, because if that was my kid, I would have whipped their ass. So that'd be completely different. So that's why I'm more of a teacher. But objective, here's the thing. You hate Roddy Strong. So there's been times we had so many arguments.
How we back on Roddy?
No, because we are objective. Because he said objective. He said the objective.
How are we still talking about Roddy Strong?
We're talking about being
Roddy
objective.
Strong is the reason why we not pod no more on Tuesday nights, because he's in a championship match.
That's not him. That's Tony's fault then. What I'm saying is he was talking about being objective. Being objective is one thing. You just hated him. So then when we would get in our arguments, it would be maybe you just being a hater of AEW. And now I have to be a little bit more blinded because now you are just hell bent on this is your way. This is what you think about it. No matter what anything happened, no matter what somebody says, you just don't like the product. And then that's when I would have to come and defend it. I'm not saying it's perfect at all. And I'm still am an AEW fan. I just, as prioritizing the 15 hours of wrestling that comes on television, they're going to be lower down on my list.
So Devontae on Twitter said, comparing AEW to a badass kid got me rolling.
Hey, for real though. And Rhodesia still being that overprotective parent of this bad child.
Teacher.
I don't hate Roddy.
Teacher. Give me teacher, not a parent. That's not a parent. Not a parent.
It's a parent.
No, teacher.
I don't hate Roddy Strong. See, this is part of it. I don't hate Roddy Strong. I hate the position they was putting him in.
You hated everything about him.
I don't know, man. No, you kind of hated him.
You know what I hate? You know what I hate? That they put him in that world title eliminator after he lost like 6 matches straight. Yeah. They put his ass in the world title eliminator, and you guys' justification was because he was funny. I ain't no justification.
He was funny.
He was over. He was one of your most over persons at that time. You have to reward that. If he's over, first off, if he's over, you gotta promote that. That's just the truth. This being objective. That's actually being objective there. If he is over, you have to give him more time. That's the TV time. That's what
they gave him more time, and they gave him a championship. And what did he do with the championship?
Nothing.
Exactly what's that? He's not a champ. Look, he's not that guy to be put in those positions. He's not a guy that you should be putting in the world title eliminator because he's funny. That's not why you do it. And number 2, you don't give him a championship. He ain't do shit with it, which is why he don't have it anymore. And then what they do, they reward him. Hey, you know what? You do give us great matches. Let's put you in a world title. So Will Ospreay had to go in this random ass, like, I don't even know what the rules of this match was, right? It was
but it was fun.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a good match, but I have no idea what was going on. I don't think they did either. No one knew what was going on, but it was great, right?
And
so Will Ospreay, hold on real quick. Will Ospreay had to win. With all that randomness, he had to win. Man, Roddy, he just, he farting on Tony. Like, he just get a championship, right? Pass gas on Tony. You get, like, hey, I'm about to go find him, fart on him too. I want me a championship.
Do you know when I knew, like, they was doing anything in that match? When they took a commercial break and not a new person came in the ring. So, like, this commercial break is like 3 minutes long. Nobody was at it. And then somebody came out, and 30 seconds later, the next person came out. I was like, you know what? But it's entertaining. So to summarize, AEW is only 5 years old, right? If we were to go back and look at any other promotion in the first 5 years, we would see the same growing pains, right? And they haven't. Well, a lot of them didn't make it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This is not just a, hey, to hell with AEW. I still plan on going to All Out when they come here. I'm still trying to talk Eden and making that trip in September. I'm still going to be in the know on that show. But me sitting down and making sure it is appointment viewing every single week, those days are done until they can figure it out.
Correspondent. That's what I was trying to find, the word correspondent. I will still, to our watchers and listeners, I will still be our AEW correspondent. Okay. That's going to give you objective thoughts and opinions.
You got to watch, sweetheart, for that. And good luck.
Hey, man, to be honest with you, that's why I ain't want to go too much into it. Because, like, I'm like, Rhodesia, you ain't even watching half the show. You sitting here defending this stuff, man. Like, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? But I'm the guy, right? Like, you ain't even watching. I mean, on the text, you like, hey, you know, I'm waiting for Matt to get home so we can watch. Or maybe AEW gonna watch
y'all
me.
Have to
but then you want to come out and then
here on the show. God,
then you want to come on here and want to defend it against me for hating on the show. You ain't even watching the show. You don't watching
good content.
It.
Hey,
that's
Matt,
good
remember when you
Keep
said
snitching.
like a few episodes ago when you said what's the most embarrassing thing if we die? It ain't my text thread because all y'all do is air my dirty laundry all the time.
Oh no, I mean no, we can do even more if you would like.
Go ahead.
And then we can really start giving up on this.
Might as well. Because that was a safety area. I trusted our team's thread.
E, you said you had some because I got one more other thing that I know I'm in the minority on, 100%, and I'm sure I'm in the minority on this podcast too. But before I get to that, you said you had something good that you wanted to bring up. What you got?
You know, this is actually a perfect segue, Matt, because I had no idea what you're going to go to random. I actually kind of knew it was like AEW related because I actually watched the show, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I wonder how long can he go?
Dog.
We're keeping this AEW Shield thing alive. Like, I know it's like, I don't know, it's like a gimmick he started doing. He can't go too much longer. He watched that show. But look, I was going to ask you guys to check in. Like, we watch a lot of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So we watching wrestling right now. It's June. We got some new viewers saying, hey, Matt, Rhodesia, like, give me your top 3 shows. What shows should I don't have a lot of time, but I can watch 3 shows.
I like it.
What shows would that be? And I know we did something similar to this maybe like a year ago. Like, but just wanted to check in. Like, we
could do it every quarter because it could change.
It could change, right? So what's your top 3 shows right now? Young lady, I'll let you go first. Women's first.
Of course, I'm a Libra, so I'm going to ask a whole lot of other qualifying questions before I give an answer. That's just kind of how we roll. But if you just said point blank, what would you want to watch? I'm probably going to have to go SmackDown for one, and that's even without Roman Reigns, but you still have Paulie there, and you have the Bloodline. You're going to go NXT second. I think NXT is an easier watch. Because I didn't put Raw there.
This is your list.
Watch. Right. For
this
sure.
is your list.
For sure. This is it.
So
because
even though you don't really watch NXT now, you put NXT number 2. Got it.
Yeah. Because if someone says they haven't been a wrestler fan, they haven't been a wrestling fan. No, if you
she don't even watch NXT.
But every time I do watch, because if somebody is coming to wrestling to start with, and they haven't been watching this since they were a kid, they're not going to be able to sit through 2 hours, 3 hours, and 2 hours. So you're trying to tell me what 3 shows they should watch. I told you there's going to be qualifying questions I'm going to ask before I give them the answer. So I'm going to give them something so they can sink their teeth into what style that they want. And that being SmackDown first, be NXT number 2. It's going to be Dynamite number 3.
Oh my God.
Matt, what you got, man?
SmackDown is SmackDown you can't go wrong with. So SmackDown is absolutely in the top 3. I'll put that number 1. It's gonna sound crazy as hell, but it would be SmackDown, Raw, and NXT.
And for someone new, you don't think that Raw is more of SmackDown? And if this is someone brand new into watching wrestling and it's a 3-hour show?
No, and that's a good point, but I think they've done a really good job of really separating. The feel of SmackDown feels different than Raw. Like, SmackDown does not feel like Raw. I think they've done a really good job with the rosters and even some of the stories too.
But I feel it's still WWE. It still feels like WWE machine, though. It still feels like the machine.
It's still better than. I wouldn't tell somebody because E's question was top 3 shows.
If someone, the actual question was
top
if
3
someone,
shows.
I thought he said if someone new wants to start watching wrestling. Isn't that how it started?
I wouldn't tell him Dynamite just because they don't follow up properly. Now,
but what if somebody is like me who,
and it's only this week? So say like you're like, hey, I want to watch some wrestling next week.
Mm-hmm.
What 3 shows should I watch? And they don't plan on watching again. I would put Dynamite in the top 3 for sure. But this is something they plan on coming down this road and this journey and start watching wrestling. I would not tell them to watch weekly AEW television.
But what if they don't have the psychology and they're not smartened up as fans and they just like action? Dynamite could be them. And that's one of the reasons why I did SmackDown, NXT, and then AEW Dynamite, so that they can see what actually speaks to them the most. Because those are 3 totally different styles of wrestling shows.
Yeah. I can see that.
Like, I thought about it myself, and I'm like, of course I go SmackDown because like I think they got the 2 biggest stars in the entire world in that brand right now, right? We only see Roman 3 times a year or whatever it is, but he's gonna be back there at some point, right? Then you got Cody there. You got the Bloodline doing their thing, and it's so interesting what they're doing on that show. It's just hitting. Then I'm going Raw. It's a long watch, but it's still a good show. I mean, still high production. The show looks good. It sounds good. It feels good. It's there. It's just how much can you watch? And then I'm gonna go NXT. And NXT, for me, to be quite honest with you, gotta be objective with it. That is not a casual show. It's easy to watch, but their overall wrestling, because it's developmental, you're going to see a lot of rehearsed promos. You're going to see a lot of very scripted promos. You're going to see maybe some cringy things a little bit. Some of the matches are going to be fair, right? Because they're some of them can't go quite just yet, right? But that's not what it's there for. But they're going to give you a decent match, right? That might not be something that everyone can watch, NXT. But I will rather them watch that over AEW, to be quite honest with you. I think AEW is an even harder show for someone to watch. Like, AEW is a show, it's not something that a casual can just pick up and start watching. It's just not. They don't explain things for casuals to pick up and watch. They don't present things that casually you can just pick up and watch. They don't always explain the matches and the flow. Like, you kind of explain why there's so many damn titles. It's too much for someone who's new to watching wrestling to have to digest to watch that. Like, and to be quite honest, we got to understand something too. We got to be, when I said be objective, what it is. Like, with wrestling, like, a lot of times people look at it and they're waiting to say, oh, this stuff is fake. And I think AEW, the way they present some of their wrestling, they have a lot of ammunition there, right? Some of the no sales, the Orange Cassidy spots. I'm mentioning the Orange Cassidy spots because you guys were so against it, right? Like, there's a lot of those things that happen on that show that where somebody else is watching, they're like, what the hell is this? Like, why are they doing that? Like, who am I supposed to boo? Who am I supposed to cheer? It's a harder show for someone to watch, so they simply can't get into it. And I think that's why a lot of even the hardcore fans are kind of straying away from it, right? You got Matt, who's starting to like, hey, maybe I can't watch right now. I'm taking a break. I shared with you guys a text with a tweet from our boy Grits. Like, he got a Tony Khan tattoo on his calf or something. Like, right? He's even somewhat
my man
about
said
AEW right
Rocky
now.
Romero. He didn't say this, but Rocky Romero, and I love Rocky, and I don't want to be disrespectful of any wrestler because I appreciate every single one of them. You can't put him in a highlighted spot on AEW weekly television when you have so many stars that you don't utilize.
Sunkum Sin, whatever his name is.
Satnam Singh.
He says
Sunkum Singh. Sunkum Singh. Hit the bomb on that. Hey, hit the bomb on that. No, Sunkum Singh. Hit the bomb on that.
Hey, Riverside. The media board is gone again, so thanks a lot.
Jesus, man. And that's the other thing, too. That's going to be part 2 to new 2024 when we get off the platform. Devontae actually just said the same thing you said. He sent it in right before you said it. He said, if you're new to wrestling and you're in your 20s, NXT, SmackDown, Raw. AEW don't explain nothing on the show. They just expect you to know. And that rhymed, Devontae. You should be a rapper. I know you was named after Jodeci, but you got rapping in your veins, buddy.
It's like a dream.
Last thing on my support for AEW, and this is factual. I know a few people who've gotten into wrestling.
Forever, my lady.
He is feeling that.
I'll wait till he's done.
You probably just need to go. I don't think he's gonna stop anytime soon. He is feeling that.
His bring back memories of him and his anniversary.
AEW.
So there's a few people that I know.
I'm done.
Who've got into wrestling, watching wrestling as a wrestling fan, that they only watch AEW. And Matt, you know a few of them too. So I get what you're saying. All of that makes perfect sense. But there is a segment of people, and again, this could be part of the tribalism. They probably feel that way because of the tribalism. But there are people who are new to wrestling as wrestling fans in their 30s who only watches AEW. And there's a reason.
You know what, though? Go ahead. But I made a connection to that, too. Go ahead.
I think it's just more on the indies. I think AEW,
bingo,
before,
that's what it is.
It's more of an indies thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, they are super connected to the indie scene and the appreciation for wrestling and appreciation for the wrestlers. They don't care as much about storyline and things making sense. All they see is, I love this person, I'm supporting them, and the matches are killer.
And there's nothing wrong in being a fan like that.
No, absolutely not.
And that's why I have to always be that voice of person saying that show is still good. It's just not what it's not our cup of tea.
I just can't watch it every week or stay awake when it comes on.
Yeah, I would say
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing
that. It's June
2nd.
Come July 2nd, I want you to do another check-in. Just ask Rhodesia, hey, Rhodesia, how many Dynamite shows have you watched in the last month?
And when you say watch, like how much of the show?
Look.
So I'm going to be the exception to this rule, but I just need to know what I'm being graded on.
Hey, man, I think one of the reasons why Rhodesia didn't want to give up Tuesday so she can watch Dynamite, I feel like now it's going to be hard for her to watch now. Because I don't think she's going to go back and watch the show.
She's not. And that's why I said ask her in a month.
I think that's why she didn't want to give. I think that's why she didn't want to give.
Its purpose. Hold on. If its purpose is of proving a point, I will absolutely watch every Dynamite. But if you're just talking about just like real and just being real and like not trying to prove somebody else is wrong and get off of your little soapbox, then I'm probably not going to watch. Unless there's a huge talk. Unless there's huge talk. Oh my God, Mercedes did this, or oh my God, you should go back and watch this because Will Ospreay did that, or it's the talk of the town. Then I would go back and watch. But then, am I actually watching the whole show?
You are never going to see Ospreay in those great pants, lady. Chris Bush left a great message on YouTube. So we had asked last pod. Remember, he had talked about kind of transition to WWE. He talked about Chad Gable. He said he wasn't feeling Gable's heel run. And I think that's what he said. He said fantasy booking. I want Otis to turn on Chad.
Otis.
Chad gets his title shot again at SummerSlam, and Otis realigns with Chad. And my follow-up question to him was, so were they in cahoots the whole time? And he said, yes, we don't get swerves like that anymore. I don't think that's where they're going, but I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. Because I think there's money in a babyface Otis, and that's why I don't think that's where they're going. But if you want to talk about some fun storytelling, that would be good.
Yeah, I'd be there for it. Right now, I think there's somebody who don't really care for Chad that's a friend of our show. I really like what they're doing. I think that's like one of the hottest, one of the longest storytelling campaigns we have right now in WWE. So for me, they're kind of, I'm going to give them the luxury of maybe taking some chances in this whole feud. So I'm here for all of that. I just think that Otis can be just a monster. Yes, there's money in him as a face for sure. But can you imagine him just being a monster? God, dog.
Like a monster heel or a monster?
Yes, monster heel.
Monster heel?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's Yusuf too, who's not a fan of Chad Gable. Yeah. He's still not either. Go ahead. I'll read what he sent. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I know when Alpha Academy first started on Raw, Otis got a haircut and, he was, kind of the heavy. I don't know if he necessarily was a monster, but I totally agree. I think that definitely he could be a monster heel and heater for Chad if they go that route. If he stays a babyface, I see him being like George Animal Steel.
Yeah, he would be the face version of Austin Theory and damn, why am I forgetting Theory's
Grayson
partner?
Austin
Waller?
Theory.
Grayson
Grayson
Waller?
Waller. He would be the face version of them. Somebody who's going to get incredible reactions at house shows, put them in a match, and they're going to get the crowd amped and ready. And that's the value right now. Watching Grayson and Theory on SmackDown, I was like, man, like, I know it looks like they may be trying to go into them turning because Grayson's like, I made Austin Theory, I think he said he made him relevant. I was like, I don't know if it's time to break them up yet because Austin Theory still hasn't really connected with the fans by himself. I think as a team, though, they are that team you throw out there. They both can work. They're going to get great responses. And like I said, as a house show act, you got it. You got it. You go out there and, you shit on the local town and, show off your muscles and, do that whole thing. I think that works. But but Yusuf said, man, I must be crazy. Perk Gable still ain't doing it for me.
What he call him?
I don't know.
Perk Gable.
Yeah, you don't know about. Yeah, you don't know about. Yeah, you got to go back and look about Perk Angle. When Angle was off those Perk 30s,
okay, got it.
Jumping off of everything in TNA. He said, I don't know what it is, if he just switched up too quick or he's too corny as a bully. I'm just not feeling it. And I don't agree, but I can see.
I think it's him being a corny. I can see somebody saying he's corny. But I think that kind of brings, I don't want to say levity, but it to me, it makes his character more exciting because you can make it go different ways. We're having this conversation about Otis possibly going one way or the other. So I think that corniness is allowing us to have these different thoughts of what can Chad be instead of just putting him in this one box. But again, it's that slippery slope because if you get a little too corny, then ain't nobody gonna buy it anymore. So I feel that.
But you know what? I think he's doing a great job as a heel because we ain't supposed to like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? We're not supposed to be rooting for him. We're supposed to be rooting against him. We're supposed to want to see Otis and Sammy, everyone, get there. So I think in that way he's doing a good job. If we got a couple of our guys saying they don't like him, y'all ain't supposed to like him. Like, to be honest with you, you want to see him lose, right?
Real quick before y'all go to the next topic, I just want to. You asked us the question about the top 3 shows. You know what show, that I really like? And again, I don't watch much of it. And so you already know what that means already.
But we actually watched this show. You about to say more than we've watched NXT, Dynamite, and Collision combined in the last month and a half.
Stop.
And Am I lying? Am I lying?
Look, and it's so cool because, or not cool, it's interesting because the night that it comes on, we've had arguments about is that the death night. But wow. I really like WoW. It reminds me of a grown-up NXT of all women.
Well, I was a big fan of Glow back in the day. I haven't actually watched that show. I don't actually even know if I have something there that comes on. But I loved Glow back. I mean, was it Glow?
Yeah, Gorgeous Laser
Wrestling. Yeah, I loved that back in the day.
The Farmer's Daughter. That show was great.
But this
all right. So here is where I know I'm in the minority in, and I'm gonna let y'all go first. I want to talk about the AJ Styles promo from SmackDown, and then the beatdown of Cody Rhodes after. I'm muting up.
So until
it's time for me to go.
What am I talking? Just my feelings?
Your thoughts? Would you did you like it? Did you not like it? Why did you like it? It's a pretty big segment. I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
I was sad that AJ was retiring on this new AJ, the roided AJ. So if you call Chad Perk Chad, this is roided AJ. I actually was.
We don't know that.
You're right. My bad. Put disrespect on that man's name.
HGH Styles.
Oh, that's it. So HGH Styles, to me, I like this new one. Of course, he was put up to lose a couple of times, but we knew that because who he was going against. But I like this run of AJ Styles. He kind of separated himself from the Good Boys or whatever they're called, and even Mia Yim. But when he was ready to retire, I'm like, damn. And I don't want to steal any of Matt's thunder, but I'm like sad throughout the whole episode. Man, get the fuck out of here. Retire. Ain't nobody tripping over this. Like, he was like, so forget AJ Styles. And that just made me hurt even more deep down inside. So he comes out, and I knew that maybe something had to happen, but easy to say, hindsight 2020, just because he was in a story thread like throughout the show, like nonstop. I'm like, there got to be something to it, but he kind of got me worked me into his shoot, and so then now I'm gonna address the beat down of Cody. Overall, I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm assuming Matt probably didn't like it. I liked AJ coming out. It just made him even more of a heel. I think that was like high level character building for yourself. And we already know he's not young enough to go back the old way and get back at the end of the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke the bear. So now the bear has nothing else but to come at me. That is my way of how I'm going to get a title shot, because I'm going to poke and aggravate him enough until he say, all right, fine, I'll put it up for the championship. Cody is the baby face. He's going to do that. He's going to put his title up for him. So for me, I think it was fun. It was entertaining. And I think AJ is going to be able to be more of a heel by him doing that, pulling on people's heartstrings, and hopefully get a great match out of him. He's not going to win a title. So maybe he retires like legit there. But overall, I liked it. I give it 2 thumbs up.
I liked it. I agree with you, Rhodesia. I was there with you, man. You know, I just think it's funny that we don't know about people's names, man. The Good Boys, like we like
what's their name? What are they called?
Singh, the Good Brothers. We don't know nobody's names, man. We just be, you know what I'm saying? We be out here just giving anybody any kind of new gimmicks and everything else. I love it. But I'm with you, man. I'll give the whole segment like a C plus B minus. Maybe a B minus, B minus, because I knew the dude wasn't retiring. I knew something was gonna happen. I was kind of waiting for him to get to it. To be honest with you, all right, get to it. But I agree with what you said. I mean, because number one, it gives AJ Styles and Cody another reason to have a match. We talked about it on a couple of shows before. I think Wale asked us like, "Yo, how can we get them another rematch?" This gives them another rematch, right? Because at this point, AJ embarrassed them, right? Tricked them, embarrassed them, beat his ass, right? So now Cody has to come back with pride. Like, yo, all right, come on. Like, let's do this, right? I won the match, whatever. And, AJ's probably like, all right, we do this. I need the championship on the line. So now he's going to kind of do it on his terms. Now we can have a whole program for the next PLE. So I like that it's set up another match and gives, and it's almost a logical way to give the match, because I'm pretty sure that Cody at this point is going to demand the match. And now AJ is going to be the snake in the grass to kind of, he's going to demand his own stipulations to this match, right? So I love what it does. I love that it extends it, because we get another rematch, because that was a really great match that AJ pulled out of Cody. Because I love Cody Rhodes, but I would say like a lot of his wrestling matches, depending on the opponents, they're just there for me. I wouldn't say they're great. I'll say they're just there, but I think that was a really great match he had with AJ. So this sets up another one. So I'm all there for it.
That was how you felt before this run in WWE. And I'm saying this run, I'm talking about the story, Cody Rhodes. You still feel that way now? That a lot of his matches are just there? Because I would say the majority of his matches are very good to great.
Depending on the opponent. Like, I would say like, a couple years ago, I wanted Cody to be like that Dolph Ziggler, Shawn Michaels type guy. Like, you put this dude in the ring, he gonna make anybody look good and anybody have a great match, right? Like what we say about AJ Styles, at some point I thought Cody can do that. But at some point I got to the realization that he's just not that type of performer. He has a very old school approach to it. It's not bad, right? It's just that to be honest with you, I was there with Stone Cold. Like Stone Cold, none of my favorite wrestlers. Rock, none of my favorite wrestlers. I can't tell you my favorite Stone Cold or Rock match, like right? But I can tell you I can tell you a segment or an interview that they had, or a segment they had, or something like that. I can't tell you how many matches I enjoyed from watching them, and that's how I'm with Cody. Now, Cody, the match he had with Roman, like those two together, perfect.
They make magic.
Yeah, perfect together, right? Take two to tango. AJ Styles brought another good one out of him. Seth Rollins, those matches are all right.
The cage match.
Got you. Okay.
Was the
Yeah, but I mean,
match, right?
but
You agree that was a great one.
I liked all the Brock ones that he had. I like the Roman ones. Who else did he work in the last year? I guess that's probably it. Maybe that's why I said that. So, once again, I know I'm in the minority. I hated it. I hated everything about it. I hate everything about it except for the beatdown of Cody at the end, because we could have skipped all that extra stuff and just did the beatdown. Nobody thought he was retiring. That's why I hated it.
I did. I did. So listen, I did because the week before when he went and asked Nick Aldis, "Hey, you got to give me another match," and he's like, "No, I can't do it." It was like a disappointment in his voice. Also with Nick Aldis, a disappointment in that tone that it hit me, and maybe because although he doesn't want to admit it, maybe because I'm getting middle age, I feel like, oh, maybe it is relatable to me.
So you see yourself in AJ Styles?
Absolutely. So that's why I got to get on this HG, which is HGC, whatever it's called.
HGH
some of that.
And then,
hey, I'm starting a new program on Monday, man. I might need to holler at my doctor about it. Hey, I'm with you, Rhodesia. I feel like maybe the hardcore fan maybe didn't, but I think probably a good portion of the audience might have got swept up to that. Like, oh, maybe AJ is about to retire. Maybe he is about to go out. He had that stinky baby blue like suit on. And I was like, oh man, he going to somebody's funeral.
Which we knew that was an ode to Mark Henry, right? When Mike Henry had the pink salmon suit.
Salmon.
But it was damn near word for word, bar for bar.
What was it?
Yes. You know what I'm saying? Come out there in the suit.
Word for word, bar for bar.
He never even said I'm retiring.
He never said he was retiring.
He's got the Good Brothers coming out, and he's trying to hold back the tears. And one more time, I'm just like, you got to be fucking kidding. This is not good. And I think because we shooting WWE a lot of bail, if AEW was to do that same thing, we'd be like, so we just gonna rehash the exact same thing from years ago and like be cool with it. I hated it. I hated everything about it. Except for the end. We know the match is gonna be great. We talked about it a month ago that maybe this should have been the match at Saudi. Should have been AJ versus Cody too. So Wole, you know I gotta love you, brother, but this wasn't it. In my opinion, AJ ain't that guy to be pulling off a fake retirement right now at this time. It just I hated it.
But he's Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It wasn't that bad,
hated it. That was in Living Color, right? Hated it.
Yeah. Hated it. Yep.
Oh, but something I did love off SmackDown. That Kevin Owens, Paul Heyman segment.
Yes.
Oh boy. Two masters at work.
Going back and forth.
And it's great. And that's one of those segments where you can tell it's not scripted, right? That was not written line for line, paragraph for paragraph. We know they had bullet points, but it was, all right, I'm going to go out there and play off you. This is what our end game is. Let's go do it. I thought that was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I also want to talk to you guys about, and we about to wrap this thing here in a couple minutes, Solo telling Heyman, we have Cody right where we want him.
Who we?
Who was we?
Who we?
Gotta be The Rock, right?
Gotta be. Or his daddy. It's been Rikishi this whole time. It's been Rikishi this whole
Actually, you know what? I didn't even think about that. Hold on a second.
It's Rikishi.
Let's go to Rikishi. Y'all talk. Let me pull up Rikishi's Twitter.
I'm telling you.
Let's see. Rikishi may have gave it up. You're right.
Rikishi planted Solo into this years ago. And he's like, how am I going to be able to do this? And he knows that Solo is loyal and he's going to respect the hierarchy of the family. His daddy.
Man, Rikishi going to come out there with that big old booty and that top hat.
And why you say it like that, though? It's a booty.
He got that big old booty. And that little top hat. He gonna come out there. He gonna lay it out there, man. Like it's the bloodline thing is really good. I think it was a good match too between the Prophets and I guess we're gonna call them the Guerrillas of Destiny. GOD.
No, they're listed as Bloodline internally.
The Bloodline, yeah,
just Bloodline.
That's what's said on the graphics too. So I mean, really good match with those guys. I like that Thomas. He finally got that finisher down because that was a good, a good on that one. So yeah, it was a good segment too. And I like that Heyman continues to really hype up like these guys that Solo's bringing in there. Like, yo, these dudes are criminals. They are thugs. We do background checks on. That's what Vince said. That's what we do, background checks, and we couldn't let them in here. And now you getting them in here, and they going crazy. Like, and KO, listen, I'm trying to help you. Like, it's like you've turned heel and back and forth, and multiple times you redeem yourself. Why can't I redeem myself? Why can't I, you know what I'm saying, be
the Hall of Famer
doing something like, and then Hall of Fame. Nobody want to listen to me. So he's playing it. He's playing it really, really nicely. I'm really looking forward to this bloodline thing. See what this is what we needed, y'all. I was telling y'all like a year ago that this is what we need with the bloodline, something fresh and something new. It'd be very interesting when Roman comes back. Maybe July? He might come back to kind of do something for SummerSlam.
He's never left my heart.
Yeah, we miss you, Roman. You to go. Rikishi ain't got nothing on his Twitter account about SmackDown, so he's
getting
not
you off the scent though. He's taking you off the scent.
Yes. He is not adding his name to the hat right now, but we gonna see. But yeah, I think it's The Rock. And then another person who's not in the bloodline, but is absolutely of Samoan descent, Nia Jax is. I say it every week. If this was legit, like sports, she would win Comeback Player of the Year. Absolutely. She again smoked every single thing that she did since the last time we podcast, and that segment she had, another home run for her. She is in a zone. She is locked in, and I would love to just find out what happened. How did you get this way? Is it strictly just being comfortable? Was there something else that happened?
Something happened while she walked away. Maybe that chip fell off her shoulder, because I am of Samoan roots. Isn't she related to The Rock? Like in real life?
Cousin. Yeah.
So in real life, she related to The Rock. So this added pressure that probably either she self-inflicted on herself or what they wanted out of her too. Finally, she got fired, let go. She said, hey, what's worse? What's more humbling than getting fired? Getting fired. So then now I can just go through life and mature. And she's gotten enlightened by it. And it is evident that that's what it is, because this is probably what Nia always was, but now there's a different level to it because she's at peace with it. And it just shines right through it. And I want to get off my soapbox here, but I want to just mention, like, think about wrestling today in 2024 versus 84. Hell, 94.
Well, in 84 and 94, there was only one royal family. Now there's more than one royal family.
Right? I'm talking about just the image of the image of the woman. Like, Nia is beautiful. She is the queen. And she's probably 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, curly hair, brown. That to me is just like, it's so beautiful to me. So I know I go in here and talk about how proud I am when I see Black women thriving too, but she's the queen. She's not this little skinny, small model, Barbie doll. Not, again, no hating on anybody who is like that, but for us to get that, this is the image that we see.
Thank you for repeating that 3 times, because I just figured out Charlotte's going to come back and feud with Nia Jax. There's only room for one queen in the WWE.
There you go. I knew that. I
flip that up. Put that on the socials.
I teed that up for you.
After she beats Bayley for the championship.
Y'all hate Bayley. Y'all gonna stop.
No, I tell you.
Now, Bayley is my child. Now, Bayley is my child. AEW
I got one more thing after this, but I do want Ida to talk about this. So Brandon sent a text to the group, and he's just like,
of course,
man,
snitching.
Like, what's up with this Bayley title reign? And E responded and said, I told y'all about Bayley. So E, you have not gotten on the Bayley train since she's won the championship. You still feel like she is just there, huh?
You know what? We know what just wasn't there, that outfit she had on. I was kind of mad that they ain't really, give me enough views of it like I wanted to. Cause like as soon as she came out, all of a sudden, as soon as she came out, you know what I'm saying, right before she can really sport it off, they put boots to her. I'm like, God damn, man, what a bunch of heels, right? For what a bunch of heels. I was like, man, they knew exactly what was gonna happen when she came out there in that outfit. They was like, hey, you know what? As soon as I come out, E want to see. Don't let them. Put the boots to me. So that's what they did. And I'm like, damn. So I ain't really get to see, you know what I'm saying? And I tried to rewind back. And then, Katrina came in the room. And I figured she knew what I was doing. So I had to stop. But, you know what I'm saying? But what dastardly heels that Chelsea and Piper. But no, I like I said, I like Bayley. Like, I like Bayley a lot. I like a lot of wrestlers that are like in the mid card though. And I don't see all of them as my champion. So that's just why I see Bayley. She's just not like that build around champion to me, and they're not building around her like that. But I'll tell you who I do like that, man. Them tag team champions. Man, Jade and Bianca come out there looking like woo-wee every single week. They might be the best tag team women's champions they ever had.
History of the business.
Okay, that's a little hyperbole right now.
History of the business.
As of right now, that's a little hyperbole.
Who's better? Who's better?
Oh, women's tag team?
Yeah, who's better?
WWE. Who's the better tag team? Who's
the inaugural.
Which was?
I can't. Oh my god.
I don't know what you doing. What
oh shoot!
Yeah.
What?
One Iconics was not the inaugural.
Who was the inaugural then?
Was Sasha Banks and
Bailey. Okay, and that's why they got mad because they had to drop it to them. That's right. I misspoke. But no, it would be Iconics. I still feel Iconics was the best tag team champion women in WWE. Now, Jade and Bianca will be it, and by a long shot. But as far into this moment, in this
they've already surpassed them.
Iconics never had.
There it is.
You should talk about. They had this run, right? Like they had this run of like high quality matches.
You weren't there.
About.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
Whatever.
They ain't never had a finish like.
What y'all not gonna do? You're not gonna disrespect Iconics though.
All right. Last thing, contract season. And now we see why my man from WWE got fired. Ricochet's contract is about to be up. We know Bailey, or not Bailey, but Becky's officially a free agent. Mm-hmm. Nothing's changed with that. They still don't think she's going anywhere. Just taking an extended
Gable's
time off. Who?
Gable.
Yep. Chad Gable is about to be up too, which is really, really interesting. I don't know what the hell my man was doing. He wasn't doing his job. But I got a question on Ricochet. We can leave on this one. Where do you guys want him? Do you want him re-signing with WWE, or would you want to see him go to AEW? I can tell you what, Ospreay wants him in AEW. Ospreay is bad.
I get that. I get that.
Yep.
But you better keep Ricochet in WWE.
Why? So you can make sure you watch him? Hold on.
You made a whole new title for him. You made a whole new title. WWE don't have like 87 championships like AEW does. You made him a whole new championship. You better keep Ricochet there. Because we're gonna get some hell matches from him and Will Ospreay. Hell yeah, we'll get the part 2 of their the best, most action-packed match ever. But then what's gonna happen after a month or two? Keep Ricochet in AEW in WWE.
I'm trying to be quick because we got to wrap in a minute. That's a loaded question a little bit, because not a loaded question, but it's a complicated question for me to answer, because I don't think that WWE, even on the Triple H, has really got the most out of Ricochet. I feel like there's still a lot of meat on the bone, and they haven't scratched the potential. Now, I think some of that comes on the character side for Ricochet, right? But I think there's more they could do to kind of bring out that with him. You know, I've said it before, and I know we don't want to get Samantha off of the announce because she's great at doing that, but she'll be a hell of a mouthpiece and representative of her. You ever listen to her talk about her man in interviews? Yeah. Like, she really hypes that man up because, you know, she has a lot of personality and a lot of charisma as you hear it on the microphone. Like, she would be a perfect manager for him. If you were to go to AEW, like, you know, here's the thing. Now, if Tony wants to open up the bank and want to pay him a couple million to come over there, by all means do it. But I feel like because of the character stuff, I don't think he'll erupt like a Will Ospreay, because I don't think he has those promos in him. He hasn't shown that personality. Actually, part of that might be because, as Samantha said in an interview, is that he's a really chill dude behind the scenes. Like, he's a really chill, relaxed dude. So it might, like with the Ricochet we see on camera, might be him pushing his personality to the max. But ultimately, I would see him say in WWE, because there's no one else like him on that roster. I think there's a lot of guys that can do similar things to AEW where he'll kind of get lost in the crowd. But whereas WWE, they've really focused in on him, I feel like I can get a lot out of him.
I think that's anybody, and you're right, but I think that's anybody. I would like to see him in AEW. I know he's not. I don't think he's going. But imagine him with the handcuffs off. We just haven't seen that Ricochet I mean, he'll show spurts, but the level that we know he can go, and that roster in AEW is more fitted for his style than WWE is. Once again, I don't think he's going to move. I don't think he's going. Samantha's over in ring announcer, and then Samantha's point, she's going to go down. Who knows how long she does this for? I hope she does this for a long time. Fink will always be my GOAT because that was what I grew up on. Samantha, to me, is right there. If she does this for another 5-10 years, she's gonna be the GOAT of ring announcing. So that you don't move her from being a ring announcer to somebody's mouthpiece, because she wouldn't be a goated manager. You know,
you got her over Lillian already?
I do.
You got her over Lillian?
And I think it's not even close. Yeah. And I love Lillian.
But I like Lillian because, oh shoot, we never heard Samantha. Damn it. Because Lillian used to sing the national anthem before every show that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
But Samantha will kill her in that too.
Yeah.
That's what, you know what? We haven't heard Samantha do that yet.
Nope.
No, Samantha's great. Hey, Samantha, come on the show. That's one of the things we're gonna do. We can get Samantha on the show. I got that feeling.
I like that.
Seriously. Yeah, I got that feeling. So let's get out of here, y'all. So now we are setting the table for the TFW podcast on Thursday. We are going to record smack dab in the middle of Dynamite. I'm not even going to check my phone. Yeah.
Thursday.
We're dropping on Thursday. We're going to record our podcast on Wednesday. We'll be live on Twitter.
On Wednesday.
And yes.
We're still live on Wednesday. When you said Thursday, you tripped me out.
Because that's when it's going to drop, Rhodesia, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Okay, but this is still happening now.
Keep up, please. Keep up.
Just be a little bit more clear in your explanation and presenting.
I bet you everybody knew.
So we're recording on
what
Wednesday.
I was talking about, except for you.
We're recording on Wednesday live on Twitter. If you want to be part of the action, send in comments while we're recording. Tune in on Twitter on Thursday, on Wednesday. But on
Look
Thursday,
at you. See, you had to go.
It's on the DSPs, whatever they call that.
We out of here, y'all. Thank y'all for being with us. We will see you sometime this week, because Rhodesia doesn't want me to say Thursday. So that's why you follow and subscribe. So whenever we pop up, we're just there. Take us home.
He can't. The media board is done.
Hey, but we'll see y'all Thursday.
It is
Wednesday night. If you're gonna watch us live here on Twitter.